Hello everyone and welcome to the Bearded Geeks, a weekly grab bag of topics covering movies, comics, video games and TV. My name is Jags, I am the Beard Master, and with me today it's the marvellous Patrick Brown.
Hey.
Who, you just showed me this actually, you've there was some designs you did for Marvel that came out what was it, 12 months ago? The whole Venomized thing?
Yeah, they're still, about 6 months ago.
Yeah, and now they're bringing out Funko Pop vinyls. Like we talked about this on our last episode about collecting. They're bringing out Funko Pop vinyls based on your original designs for that media stuff. Yeah. And I'm just like, holy fuck, I'm going to buy them all and you're going to sign everyone and I'm going to sell them all on eBay.
I've been really excited about that because
it's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, it's the first time I've really designed, because I created the concepts of these characters, so they're like Groot venomized, and he's got the symbiote taking him over.
He's got little symbiote Venus flytrap vine things coming off him and stuff.
Or Iron Man venomized, and
are you actually allowed to talk about this?
I think so, yeah. Because the fact that they're advertised and stuff, I'm pretty sure.
Where'd you see it?
Yeah,
where'd you see them advertised?
Well, I just saw on Instagram there's those pop vinyls, so that they're doing a bunch of those with the designs, and I saw a bunch of T-shirts online as well.
No shit.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure it's out there now, which is good.
Yeah, I'm gonna get a couple.
Yeah, I've been waiting for it to be fully, I want to be able to share all the art again and stuff, but yeah. I shared it a bit too early last time and I had to take it all down. But the
Marvel overlords were like, Patrick Brown, take it down.
But that's exciting. I can't wait for that.
Well, talking about collecting now, I'm going to have to collect everything Patrick Brown related. So I'm going to have to dedicate a shelf to Patrick Brown. I see your shit everywhere. I sent you a photo, what was it, 2 weeks ago? I was at Bunnings and I was walking through and they had this little kid's plastic outdoor set, and it had your Spider-Man shit all over it, and I was like, fucking Patrick Brown everywhere. I took a photo and sent it to you, and you're like, haha, nice, exclamation mark. See, that's the thing, because we always used to talk about, what if you worked for this, and when we were younger, wouldn't it be something if you worked for this, or you worked for this, it's kind of like the dream to work for someone big, like a big company or something like that, and then you finally did it, you got this job with Marvel. And we were for 12 months, me and Bob was like, oh, it's cool. And then your work and that started to come out in packaging and t-shirts and shit. Oh shit, there's Patty's thing. Take a photo. I remember I was at a shop and somebody was wearing a Christmas Groot t-shirt with your picture on it. And I just said to this guy, I was like, mate, this may sound weird. Can I just take a photo of your t-shirt?
A stranger.
Because a mate of mine, my mate actually did the design of that. And he kind of just looked at me and he goes, they're at the shop down the road. And I was like, oh, okay. So I went down there and took a photo. But now it's just I see your shit everywhere and I'm just like, eh.
It was weird when I had to...
There's Patrick Brown.
Yeah, dropping off my kid to childcare or something like that. And there was 3 or 4 kids in the whole of childcare running around and they had shirts or backpacks on with my work on it.
Yeah.
And that was really, really surprising to see. Just kind of throws me back for a second. I'm like, oh, there it is. And it's really weird because I was just working on it a year ago or something. Yeah.
At work, we had we were selling some of your shit and we had a display stand thing. And I sent you a picture, this was last week, right before Christmas. I cut out your Spider-Man and I took a picture of it and I sent it to you and I was like, oh mate, there was some issues with the web shooters, but I fixed it. And I just drew dicks in Spider-Man's hands and it's just there you go mate. And it was just like Patty's Spider-Man's had dicks in his hands. It was funny. I thought it was funny. Did you think it was funny, mate?
I thought it was funny. I had a laugh.
Yeah, righto.
I had a laugh.
As long as you didn't get offended.
Of course.
At all the dicks in your pictures. You should do more dicks in your pictures, man.
I don't know how
I
much.
swear to God, if you
Marvel will be listening,
if you ever quit Marvel, because there are that many fucking perverts out in the world. If you became one of those artists who just did fanfic, nudes and characters making out and all that sort of shit, and you sold it, you had a Patreon tier where you're do you want to see Iron Man and Captain America making out? I've done the picture. Pay $20 to get access to it or whatever. You fucking make a fortune because there are that many sick fucking perverts in the world that's into that sort of shit. You'd make a fortune, mate. Let me be your manager.
You be the manager.
And we'll fucking go far. We'll go far, mate. We'll go far.
Oh, imagine that. I don't know if I'd ever go that way.
There's dicks. There's so many dicks in all these pictures.
Oh.
How was your Christmas, mate?
Yeah, pretty good. It was pretty, didn't do it a lot really, just kind of the average.
You had to put a trampoline together.
Yeah, put a trampoline together and spent like half a day doing that. And
You ate too much food.
yeah, ate some food, got crook, and then yeah, not much. It's been pretty cruisy. Really, it's all about the kids. It's been doing heaps with the kids, mucking around and letting them have their little play dates and things like that. Their little cousin came down as well from Crystal's daughter, and they had a big play together and a bit of a photo shoot as well. Alira paid for
a big family photo shoot. I saw some of those photos.
Family photo shoot down in City Park. So
your exceptionally dad t-shirt on, shirt, button-up shirt on. I think it's like the third time I've ever seen you wear a button-up shirt.
Yeah, I got a little special place in the wardrobe for it. And
He's got like 4 shirts. It's just like, here they are.
Yep.
And the 6 t-shirts I always wear.
Yeah, it only comes out on special occasions.
Yeah, true. Well, you gotta have special occasions, eh?
Yeah, so. But no, not much. How about you? What did you get up to?
Fucking, just December's really the worst month of the year. Because it's like, all my bills come in December. It's Christmas. Like, work is shit. Like, right up until Christmas Eve. Then I gotta go away for Christmas. And then I gotta come back. And it's just real hectic and daunting and exhausting. And it's fucking hot. And I'm just like, summer, fuck off. It's too hot. Just like, it's been alright, though. Like, I had a pretty good Christmas. I'm off work at the moment. I've only got, 3 days left before I go back to work. Fuck work. Work's shit. Yeah. But, it's alright. It's alright. It's been good. Had a pretty good Christmas and that, and had some fucking shit sleep and that over Christmas. No, it was fucked. I fucking hated it. Fuck, I had some shit sleeps.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Fucking, I've had a shit sleep last night. Fuck, I felt rat shit when I woke up this morning. I was just like, I woke up and I was like, fuck, I feel shit. I didn't get out of bed till about 11 o'clock this morning. I was just laying in bed for like 3 hours. I was like, fuck this.
Oh, shit.
I was talking to my missus just before, like we were at Bunnings, and I was talking to her just before, and she's like, you doing a show tonight? She's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, we're going to do The Witcher. And she's like, oh, yeah, cool. And I was like, do you want to come in? Because she watched The Witcher with me. I was like, do you want to come in and do it? She's like, no, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. I'm like, oh, come on, it'll be fun. Like, you've seen The Witcher and that, and I pretty much do all the heavy lifting anyway, so you can just, I'll ask you a question and you just answer it. She's like, nah, I don't really want to do it. Plus, you swear too much, she goes. I was like, do I? She's like, oh, well, all the ones I've heard, you're just like, fuck this, fuck that, shit, piss, fuck, cunt, all this sort of stuff. And I was just like, maybe I do swear a little bit, but if somebody does a tally of like the last 7 minutes and how many fucks I said, I reckon it'd be a few. But no, it's been pretty good.
Yep, no, nice.
Watched a little bit after Christmas. I got some vouchers for Christmas, and I went and bought myself the fucking X-Files, like, complete series box set. Like, 60 fucking discs.
Nice.
Like, it's a lot. So I started watching the X-Files again the other
X-Files.
day. Oh, the X-Files is so good, man.
Yeah.
It's so fucking good. Now I want to do an X-Files show. But you'll have to catch up and watch, like, 11 seasons of the X-Files first.
I don't remember half of it.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good. There's some wishy-washy stuff in there, but, man, like, those first 5 seasons,
Used to creep me out when I was a kid, though.
Same.
I could hear it was on TV, just hear it when I was laying in bed. My sisters or someone would be watching out there. I'd hide under the sheets or something. Yeah.
But yeah, I've been watching a lot. What else did I watch? I watched season 1 of Project Blue Book.
Oh,
that was alright.
I want to watch that.
People don't know I'm really into kind of like the fucking extraterrestrials and aliens and conspiracies and all that sort of shit. Fucking love it all.
I love it.
Fucking love it all. Speaking of that, mate.
Yes.
I got something to tell you.
Tell me, mate.
You already know this.
Yep. I think I know where you're going.
You do know where I'm going because I set it up before we started. Right. I called you the other night.
Like a week ago, wasn't it?
It was Christmas Eve. I called you.
Yeah.
Because I just told all my family this story about something that happened like 3 days before. 2 or 3 days before. 4 days before. Something like that. And none of them believed me. So I was like, I haven't told Paddy yet. I'm going to fucking ring Paddy, and I told him. I'm going to tell him. So I ring you, and then I get butter, and he's like, look, mate, I got something to tell you. This is big. I swear on my life, this actually happened. No one believes me, but I'm going to tell you. And you're like, fucking tell me, mate. I'll believe you. And I was like, 2 days ago, I saw a UFO. And you're like, oh, I believe you, mate. They're out there.
Oh, I know.
Anyway, like, this is what happened, right? This could be total bullshit. It could have been something else, but I swear I've never seen anything like it, and it was just weird. It was weird, and, like, I'll get into it, right?
Yeah.
So I saw The Rise of Skywalker, and I'm leaving the cinema, and I'm driving to the other side of town so I can get some food. It's summer here at the moment, so the sun sets really late. So it's like the sun was setting at, like, 9:30 at night, like, really late. And so we had, like, daylight up until about, like, 9:30-ish at night. So I'm driving, and it's, like, 8:45 at night, and it's still daylight. Blue sky on the horizon, not a cloud in the sky. So I'm driving down the road, and I look up, and to be fair, this is a flight path for the airport, which is, you know, you keep going about another 10 Ks, the airport's out the other side of town. And I see this lights blinking in the sky, and I'm like, the fuck is that? Is that a plane? But where it was, like, the position of it, like, I know planes don't fly that low and at that distance, because, yeah, when they do fly overhead, they're coming in for a landing, but the amount of planes I've seen fly over, they never kind of fly that path or that position in the sky. It's kind of weird to explain. But anyway, I saw this shape. It was like this fucking browny, oily kind of like apparition. It was like a haze. But then, like, it was kind of like your classic, like, UFO lampshade shape. Yeah. So it was kind of like roundish, saucerish, but then it had like a little tiny dome bit on top.
That's crazy.
So it was like your classic UFO shape.
Yeah.
But it kind of looked like oily and transparent. So, to be fair, I could have seen something else. But
you did.
But the weird thing about it is there were 3 lights on it, right? So in the bottom, we'll say the saucer section at the bottom, they kind of look like the saucer section.
Yeah.
There was 3 lights. There was one in the middle, and there were 2 either side. And what actually happened was they would blink on and off. Now, as my brother said, look, you probably saw a plane because on the wings of the planes, they got lights that blink on and off, you know, either side. And I'm like, no, it wasn't a plane. I'd seen planes a billion times fly over. They're tiny little pinprick lights in the sky when planes are flying over. It wasn't a plane because these were bright. These were like headlights in the sky, and they were super bright, but it's kind of hard to explain because the distance it was away, and, like, the kind of intensity of the light, they had to have been, like, big and super bright. Because they would flick on and off. So, like, it was like somebody had, like, a dimmer switch in their lounge room, and you'd have the light on the low setting, and then you'd turn it up.
Yeah.
And then turn it back down.
But
it would go through, so it would be, like, the 2 on the side kind of lit up and then went down. And then the one in...
Not blinking. They're
not
just
blinking. It was like
transitioning,
they were like steady all the time,
Yep.
but then somebody just turned up the brightness
Yep.
and then turned it back down. And then the light that was in the middle, which was the biggest, which is probably like a plane fuselage or something like that. Listen to me trying to fucking rationalize this shit. Anyway, that was the biggest, and it was like super bright, intense. Like somebody just had like a headlight, like a train was coming at you through a tunnel, and there's just this bright light coming right at you. And I just saw it, and I drove down the road because the road kind of goes around this bend, kind of around this corner.
Was it black yet in the sky? Or just
No,
still daylight?
it was daylight. It was blue sky, not a cloud in the sky. Like it was just this thing. It was like right in front of me, and I saw it. And then I drove around the corner. I'm like, is this a fucking UFO? But the position it was in the sky, and it wasn't moving. And so the position it was in the sky, kind of like how low to high it was, like it was too low for a plane because a plane wouldn't fly in that low, being that far away from the airport. Because,
definitely
like I said,
not a drone or anything like that.
No, but because the lights were too intense. Like
large.
the lights were super bright and big,
Bigger,
like big in the sky, man.
Yeah.
And then I was watching it, and I kind of drove around. I was driving down around this bend, kind of which hooks to the left, and there's this wall there. So obviously you got to watch where you're fucking going when you're driving around there, because you fucking hit a dog or something if it's out in the road.
Yeah.
And then I kind of looked for a second as I was going around the bend, and I looked back up and it was there. And I watched it for another second or two, and I was like, what the fuck, man? What is this? And I was like, wanted to pull over so I could pull my phone out. And then I drove around the bend a bit more, and I looked up, and it was gone.
Shit.
And it was only there for like, the whole thing happened, it was probably like 8-10 seconds tops.
Yeah.
But I'm like, that's the weirdest fucking thing, man. And it was just like, to be fair, it could have been anything. And then I was like checking the sky everywhere. I'm like, it wasn't a plane. Like, it wasn't just the light hit it at a certain fucking angle and, it was bouncing down and it was so intense. But it wasn't like, a shiny exterior, and when the sun hits it, it kind of gleams it back down towards you. The light bounces off it. It was literally like a spotlight in the sky and two little lights like either side. And it was fucking weird, man. And then it disappeared and it was gone. So it was just like...
I believe you. I reckon it would have been something crazy like that.
Who knows? It could have been anything. Like, it could have been,
It's because you got to match it up with... So what you've seen now, and you've witnessed it, it sounds so similar to a lot of other stories of other sightings. So you got to line it up with that, and it's like it's very similar to that. The way it just kind of disappears, shoots away, and it's gone. And
it didn't even shoot away. It just like blinked,
and it's just gone. Yeah.
I just looked up and it was gone, out of existence. And I was looking, like I said, blue fucking sky, daylight. The sun wasn't in the sky. The sun had already kind of gone down behind the hill. Not down behind the hill. There's this massive hill, which But the sun was low in the sky. It wasn't anywhere to be seen, but it was still perfect daylight, blue sky. There wasn't a cloud in the sky, and it was right there. There was nothing obstructing. I was fucking sky ahead of me, and I just saw this fucking thing, man. I'm like, what the fuck is that? That is so weird.
Matches all the other ones.
Could have been anything. Could have been a plane. I just couldn't see it, but it's just weird because the lights on it were so intense. It was literally like somebody had a dimmer switch and turned it right up to like kind of floodlight. And then would turn it back down. But then, there was like this oily, saucerish kind of shape around it. And I was just like, it was weird. Never seen anything like it. Like I say, it could be totally plausible and explainable and whatever. Probably have Men in Black come knocking on my door when this is fucking posted online, but like, you didn't see nothing. I'm like, I didn't see a thing. It was a plane. I swear it was a plane. But I don't know, it was just this weird fucking thing I saw in the sky, and because I'm fucking into that shit, I was like, fuck, it's a UFO. And then I told all my family, and they're just like, none of them even listened, and my brother was just like, you just saw a plane, you idiot. And I'm like, it wasn't a fucking plane, and I'm like, I swear, it was the weirdest thing I'd ever saw.
I hope Dan Aykroyd hears this, he's real into that.
Oh, he's gonna come knocking on my door, and he'll be like, I believe you. I believe you, little boy from Tasmania.
He knows all about that stuff. He's good with all that.
Fucking weird, man. I don't know.
That's
like
awesome.
I said,
I love it.
Could be totally plausible, explainable, or whatever. It's just this weird thing I saw in the sky. I never seen anything like it. And it's really the lights and that got me. It was just these bright lights, like they would go super bright and then like turn back down. Like the light would drop off. Fair enough, it could have been light bouncing off something metallic in the sky, but once it was gone, I couldn't see anything. And to be fair, like, if it was a plane, like, flying, I would have seen it. Because the flight path that, like, these planes take, we see all the time. They fly real fucking low, and they're hard to miss because they're red and fucking white. They're really hard to miss in the sky. So, And it's just, it was too low in the sky, and it was stationary, and it wasn't moving, and it was like that for about 10 seconds. And I don't know. Could be nothing, but it was just something weird I saw. I was like, Jake sees a UFO.
It's good.
You've heard it here first.
Yep, it's official.
It's official. You told me the story that you read the other day about astronomers and that keeping eyes on like stars and that in the sky.
It was on the news the other morning, and they said they reckon that astronomers they've had their eyes on, they obviously map out the stars. They know which ones belong where, and each star has a name. But for some reason lately, a few of them have just been disappearing.
I read it was like 100. Like 100 stars have just disappeared out of the sky.
And especially, like, they've been expecting these ones the ones that are dimming down, they're supposed to...
they're going to go supernova or whatever.
Supernova and explode, and then that's how they actually disappear. But it doesn't happen. They don't explode. There's
no evidence of that.
Yeah, they just
disappear.
They're just gone. And there are theories out there. They reckon that they think that intelligent life may be out there actually harvesting these stars. The energy is so pure that they think that it'd make sense if there is intelligent life out there, that they would be scooping these up before they explode and
harvesting the energy from the
using it and
stars that are about to go supernova.
Because it doesn't make sense that all these stars are just disappearing and there's no explosion, no trace of these stars, no nothing. They're just vanishing. So yeah, that's just a theory out there, but I thought that was really cool.
Isn't that so interesting? Like the amount of people that are so worried about stuff that's going on, like staring at their phones constantly. Just fucking look up for once.
Yeah.
Like look up and fucking admire the shit in the sky and that. Like,
I
it's
do.
fucking crazy what you'll say.
I think about it every day. I think about just what we live on and everything. I don't know why, but I've got like a big appreciation for just life in general. I like everything that exists, and I won't even bloody step on an ant because I just think that. But it's more about just I just think it's really interesting, just planets and everything. Solar system.
Fuck yeah,
yeah. It's of course there's other life out there. It's not just us because
it can't be.
It doesn't end. There's no
the vastness of the universe.
There's no wall of just the space, and then it just has a big barrier wall, and there's just an end to it. It just doesn't end.
The Earth's flat, remember, and there's a dome over the top of it. Space isn't real. NASA is in on it.
Yeah,
that's all bullshit.
Obviously, our solar system just lined up perfectly, and we had the Earth is the perfect distance from the sun. We happen to have a moon there, and everything just lined up perfect to have growth, and we have life form. So that's happened somewhere else, however far away it has happened, because it just doesn't end. So it could be, billions of light years away, but surely enough, there's another solar system that just has the same thing.
There's another galaxy out there.
The perfect planet that's just got just enough warmth on it.
Oh, it has to be. Fucking universe is infinite, man.
Yeah.
Fucking...
And then life on it, and then, intelligent life. Got to be out there somewhere.
Fuck, I love your appreciation of everything. God.
It just makes sense.
If you were close to me, right, I'd fucking kiss you right now.
You just got to look at the evidence. The evidence, which is us.
Yeah.
We are evidence that we are intelligent life. We can't be the only ones. It's
God created us in 7 days, mate.
Not God, mate.
Was it 7 days?
I don't believe in fairy tales.
No bloody fairy tales and that, whatever, yeah.
Science.
People have been around that long that, they have to find something to believe in. They can't just believe that we were... not a freak of evolution, but, we just wound up the way we were. They have to find some fantastical meaning for us.
My theory is just personal.
Fuck The Witcher. Let's just talk about life in the universe now. Fuck The Witcher. This isn't a Witcher episode anymore.
This is just my opinion. I can't remember if I've told you before.
We just get drunk and talk about the universe. Keep going, mate. Tell me about life. We'll do another Witcher show another time.
I'm dead serious here, but my theory is that the planets... all planets I'm talking about, not just Earth, but I think every planet is somehow has a goal, and that's to have some kind of intelligent life. Because, some people think of humans as parasites, like destroying the Earth, but there's a reason that we're so intelligent. We have brains. Like we can be smart enough to. Sure, we're gonna be like cavemen at one point, and even though we are now, and we're dumb enough to destroy the Earth, which does happen, but I'm sure that as we are now, a lot of people are smart enough to realize what's happening and then fix it, and it's try and reverse what we've done.
The damage we've done.
And ultimately
really only in the last couple of 100 years we've done this, like the last 200 years.
Yeah. And you look at how quick we've evolved in just a few hundred years.
How much damage we've done in 200 years. How smart we've done.
Look at the technology-wise.
Leaps and bounds.
Yeah, so my theory is that every planet has a goal to have a creature or something that's to evolve. Everything has to evolve. So if life forms on another planet, it's going to, billions of years later, it's going to evolve into something. And I think that the goal for that, I don't know how, but I think the planet wants to have some kind of intelligent life to sustain it and help, I don't know, make it better, improve it. I don't even know what the end game is, but otherwise, why are we so smart? Why, how does that happen? And
evolution, man.
It's got to have a purpose. I'm pretty sure we have a purpose to reproduce and all that, but we're so smart now, that has to have a purpose too. Look what we're doing. We're starting to make robots and shit. Like,
I think you're right in a way.
Travel between planets now, like, you know.
The human race is kind of a freak of evolution. Like, we were lucky that we evolved from, you know, primitive man, apes, hominids, whatever you want to call it. And I think the greatest thing to ever happen to the human race, or the pre-human race, you know, leading up to us, was discovering fire. Because trace it back, man, and like fire is like the catalyst for fucking everything.
Everything.
You know, I was thinking about it the other day, like how far the human race has actually come. This may sound weird. I was sitting there eating Christmas lunch, and we were having prawns, or as most other people in the world, there was an ad campaign in the 80s to throw another shrimp on the barbie.
Yeah.
But we don't actually call them shrimp. We call them fucking prawns. They're prawns, mate. They're fucking prawns. That was just for you Yanks, so you fucking knew what we were talking about. Good on you, Paul Hogan. I bet he got a big paycheck for that too, being spokesman for that fucking ad campaign. After Crocodile Dundee and shit too. Fuck, it would have been rolling in a bit of money.
I wonder he didn't correct them at the time.
Anyway, back to my story. I'm sitting there and I'm eating prawns, right? And I don't eat prawns a lot, but sometimes, you know, at Christmas or whatever and that I do. So we've got these big fucking king prawns, right, mate? And they haven't been shelled or anything.
Yeah.
So I've got these big fucking cooked king prawns sitting on my plate. And I'm kind of just like picking my way through it, you know? Like, because I don't eat prawns a lot. And so pretty much every time I have a king prawn, it's like learning how to like de-shell it like over again. So I'm sitting there and my girlfriend's dad, now this was Boxing Day, my girlfriend's dad is talking me through it. He's like, right, pull the head and that off first, and then after that, you know, like strip the shell and that off. And if you want, you split it down the back and you pull out the poop chute.
Yeah.
And then, you know, you just kind of clean it off and rip the tail off and just eat it. And I'm like, righto. So I was just pulling it apart and stuff, and I was doing it. I pulled the head off, and I started to like break the shell and pulling the legs and that off and pulling all the shell and that off. And then it kind of just fucking like dawned on me. I was like, somebody or people somewhere had to figure out how to do this. Like somebody would have scooped up fucking prawns and then be like, oh, these look all right. I wonder what happens if we boil them. And then they boil them and they're cooked. And then they're like, I wonder if there's anything good in this. And somebody would have like, it's fascinating to like think about like anything that we've ever done in life, anything we've ever accomplished, like how we've found out how to prepare food.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you're into like, what's that hunting show on Netflix you watch?
Oh,
Meat Eater or whatever. Meat Eater.
Yeah.
Like, somebody would have had to learn how to kill a buck. What's the best way to kill a buck?
Yep.
Okay, I guess this is edible. I don't know. Is it like a primal thing in people? Like, we know that we can eat other animals. They're a meat. So somebody would have had to, like, by trial and error, learn how to skin it, how to cut it apart, how to harvest that. And I was thinking about this when I was, like, sitting here and I'm, like, eating these prawns and I'm shelling this prawn. And then it's like, okay, like I said, you know, like eating a prawn again, like once a year is like learning how to do it all over again. And so it's like split it down the back, and I started to split it down the back, and it just split so easily. And it was at that point I was just like, somebody had to do this and figure it out and pass that along. You know, pass that information along.
I find it absolutely
fascinating.
I find it really fascinating that you know, shrimp.
Prawns, mate. They're fucking prawns, Pat.
Prawns and lobsters and crabs and everything. They crustaceans, as they call them.
Oh, we had some crayfish the other day too. Fuck, it was good.
I find it really fascinating that they have their skeletons on the outside with the soft stuff in the middle.
All the tissue
all the
and
meat in the middle.
inside,
And us humans have bones on the inside, you know, and soft on the outside. And it's just funny. I just find it fascinating that they're the opposite. They're all inside out. They got their bones on the outside as a shell, like armor, and then, you know, to protect them. And I don't know, I just find that really fascinating. And I was
funny.
watching.
You're right. Go ahead.
I was just going to mention, because you mentioned Meat Eater the other day. It's kind of gross, but I was watching an episode the other day and I found it really interesting. the way they figure out these things, like you were saying, like what's nice to eat in there. Because there's certain parts of the deer that is good to eat.
This is the best part. This part is best for like stewing, or you cut off the backstrap and that, and this is good for this. Or you can like cure this or whatever. I don't know how they fucking make jerky and shit, but you can cure this for days and smoke it, and you can have just like like jerky strips and stuff. Like, and who figured out how to do all this?
And there was one bit where
it's fascinating.
He's just there. He just hunted this buck, and it's just there and on the spot in the grass. He's just like, oh, I want to show you something, and they're just cleaning it, and skinning it and stuff. And he's just, like I said, it's kind of gross because he gets behind the eye, and he just takes out a little bit of fat from behind the eye that's from the inside. And he's like, this is a delicacy. He said, this here, he said, taste this. And he gives it to his mates, and they're like, they just have a little taste. And they said it tastes like just bread dough, and it's like...
No shit.
Yeah, and they said that is like one of the best things to eat in the whole deer. They said just that part, and they're all just like having a little nibble on this bit of fat that's behind the eye. And they were like, it's just like freaking bread dough, they're just eating it.
Wow.
And they were like, it's known as like a delicate part, like a delicacy out of the buck. And they're just, I was like, that's fucking gross, but it's really interesting.
Yeah.
But
it's funny like with humans and that, like me speaking from experience, like sometimes like I can feel very... if I've spent like a lot of days on my own or whatever, I can feel very isolated and craving human interaction and connection and that. But then there are other times where it's like, if I'm around too many people, like I feel at times like I can feel overwhelmed and like I just need to like get away. Like it's too much. Yeah. I think that's kind of like a real kind of like deep-centered like... it's like ingrained in our psyche and evolution and that, like, cause humans are like very tribal, cause we have like our little like groups and our close-knit communities and that, which is why I feel like people who live in like big cities and that always feel like so alone, because there are so many people in the city and everybody's kind of like doing their own thing and nobody connects. Whereas like go back hundreds or thousands of years or whatever, and you had groups of people that lived in small communities like villages or tribes or whatever, and how everything was done for the tribe, for their people, you know? I think it's really just like a deep set, ingrained human thing, because I feel like, I don't know, like when I'm around too many people, it's too much. But if I'm with like a smaller group of, my closest tight-knit people, and I feel like that's why people like get so attached to other people. Like you, for example. You're one of my best mates. I've known you forever. And like, there's nothing I wouldn't do for you. Like, I'd do anything for you. I'd take a bullet for you. But I'll fuck getting stabbed. Like, I wouldn't get stabbed. Fuck getting stabbed. I'm not getting stabbed for you. But yeah, like, because you're like one of my tribe, and like, I'd fucking do anything for you. Whereas, if I saw someone on the street, like if someone just had a car accident or whatever, and, like, obviously I would go to help them, but, if there was like a zombie apocalypse or something like that, it would become like a survival of the fittest kind of thing, obviously. Because humans are very, as evolved as we are, and as far as we've come, and the laws we've created, and the society that we have, like, the laws and society itself are the only thing like holding us together. Like, if something like bad happened, because it only takes like one small thing, like, as long as the trucks are still going and delivering food to the shops and you can still get food, as long as you can still go to the petrol station and fill your car up with petrol and they haven't run out of petrol, there's still order. Like, we still like cling to order in that. But if like something like that happened, where there was like a nationwide strike, or there was like an EMP burst went across, like 1,000 EMP bursts went off over Australia and Tasmania, and everything shut down, and the trucks stopped, and we couldn't get food, it would become like survival of the fittest. It'd be like, fight to the death. You're like, look after your tribe, look after your people. But everyone else, like, you know, they're almost just as fair game.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, you'd run into people who... It's like, you know, think of like The Walking Dead or something like that.
Yeah.
You'd run into people who were good and helpful in that, but then you'd run into like ravengers or scavengers or whatever in that who would kill you for the shoes you're wearing.
Assholes.
You know?
Have you heard about the bee thing? If the bees on the planet, like all the bees, just died out.
Yeah, we're fucked.
Apparently, it'd only be within 5 years, and humans would be starting to, you know, we'd be on
screwed.
the down.
We'd be on the downside,
and we'd be going extinct
extinct
within the next few years.
Bees pollinate everything.
Yeah,
like, you know, bees pollinate like all the flowers and our food and all that sort of stuff. So if they all die
all the
off,
growth.
We're fucked. And it would be like that episode of Black Mirror where they have like all the robot bees and shit. Because all the bees die off and they build the robot bees and they go out and do all the pollinating. But then it would just be easy someone to write a fucking line of code and take over the bees and use them as like murderous swarm. We were talking about this the other day as well, but we are going to do a Black Mirror episode. We both want to watch
we have to.
Black Mirror again.
That new season.
Coming into this new year, we will 100% definitively do a Black Mirror episode.
I really want you to watch that one episode, that
and I'm going to continue to get drunk and crack this tin. I enjoy talking about the universe with you, Patrick Brown.
Yeah, I love it.
What do you think happens when we die? Here's a big one.
Do you know what? I used to think nothing. I used to, pretty bleak. I used to just think, because I'm always kind of more into science, and I used to think of it like that.
Yeah.
And I used to think it was just nothing. So it's just, you live, you die, and that's it. And
you become worm food when you're dead.
I didn't believe in...
It's a circle of life.
The afterlife.
You go into the ground and you fertilize the soil, and then the animals eat, and then we eat the animals. Yeah. It's literally the circle of life. Copyright Disney.
Yeah. But it's been the last few years, last 5 years or so, I believe different now. I actually do believe that there is... spiritual something, rather, like an energy or essence of people that have passed, and they still, part of them is still around, because mainly...
What's brought that on, do you think?
Mainly because just my experience of going to a medium. She was a medium, and she was a psychic, so... But it wasn't one of those bullshit ones, because I was really skeptical about those as well.
Because you met a bullshit one, haven't you?
I've met a few bullshit ones.
Righto.
There's one specific one. Her name's Paulette, and she comes to the Launceston Psychic Expo like yearly, every year.
Yeah. In
Launceston here. And she changed my mind completely, because I didn't have to say anything, right? I would sit down. She's that good. She's a real one. And I can tell you that for sure, because I sat down with her and she did my reading. I didn't have to say one word. I just say hello, whatever, sit down, that's it. And she just starts telling me about my life, and she's telling me personal stuff like about me and my family, and she could pick how many kids I had, what gender they were. She was telling me all of this. And
shit.
And she was like, oh, your mum has passed, your father is also passed, a while back. And she just knew it. She just said it. And I was like, oh my God, how do you even know that?
She's not just all about like reading your body language and
not
shit.
Not that vague shit. This was the specifics. And she was telling me all of it. And she was dead on, like straight, like she was just saying it as it was. And then because she's a medium, she could even reach out, and she was telling me the personality of my father and mum as well. Mum she's always been very, held back. So mum was more in the distance, she'd say. She wouldn't say a word.
She was a little bit more reserved.
Mum Mum was just observing.
It's kind of like
listening, and
not like a horrible thing to say, but the older generation and that, they would say she knew her place or something like that. It's horrible it is to say.
Mum was always very quiet and not
just observe from afar.
Yeah, she was, like that, and Dad was kind of one that was more coming forward a bit and reaching out a bit more, and Mum was always a little bit more held back, but it was just bizarre because it was exactly them, and I could, everything she said about them, even the lyra and a lot of stuff with the lyra that she was saying, and it was just on point. and every one of them. So I went, Alira went, and Alira told me all about hers, and hers was exactly on point as well.
No shit.
And even her mum went, so Donna went, and it was exactly like she said that she was amazing, and
Fuck.
it blew me away. And the fact that she could even reach out and tell about my parents and stuff like that was, and even, you know, yeah, like other things as well, you know, more, you know, I won't get into it. There's a lot of other stuff, but it's just real.
You become a believer.
Because it was so personal, and no one else knew about it, and she could just say it like it was nothing. I was like, oh my God, you know, this is
to
real.
be fair, like...
Blew me away.
You've never been like this isn't like a detriment or anything to you, but you've never been the most open person about your personal life and that. Like, you're not one to really sit down and talk about those kind of things with anyone. Yeah, so for her, like, I only know it because we're fucking, like, best mates, and all this shit happened to you when we were, like, living together and that.
Yeah, you guys experience it and stuff.
So it's, you know, it's not like you're going out on a mountaintop saying, yeah, my mum was this and my dad was this and blah, 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 and everyone knows. So, yeah, that's fucking interesting. I'll probably say that, you know, I'm not a religious guy, not at all. I don't really...
Me either.
I don't believe in God or anything like that. Like, not a detriment to anyone who does. I mean, if that, you know, if you find something to believe in, whatever it is, God in the sky, you know, leprechauns, pixies, angels, whatever it is you believed in, if that helps you sleep at night and makes you a better person, then you know what? Good for you. All the better for it. But me personally, you know, I don't kind of believe in any of that. No. Like, to begin with, I felt like, being a younger guy and a bit more cynical and stuff, I felt like, you know, no, when you're dead, you're worm food and whatever. And I wouldn't say I haven't exactly changed my tune, but, you know, I don't believe in, like, an afterlife or anything like that or whatever. But I feel like if you die, when you die, rather, something happens, something more. Your consciousness goes on. You know, in whatever shape or form that may take. You know, people talk about like the soul and stuff. That thing that's inside you. That whatever it is that makes you human, that makes you warm, that makes you feel alive, that makes you emote. You know, whatever that thing is inside that people believe in, your spirit or whatever. That goes on. Like, I don't necessarily believe in a heaven or a hell or an afterlife or anything like that, but whether it's extra dimensional or something like that, like, I don't know. It goes somewhere. It goes out into the cosmos. It goes out into the ether. Yeah. It goes somewhere. I don't know. I think maybe that's my justification for not being religious and something that I have to believe more in. Have you ever seen, I mean, I know psychics, especially Paulette was saying, they read your aura as well. They can see what kind of, apparently people have different coloured auras and things like that. Like in Dragon Ball Z?
Yeah, it's more of a, it's more of like a, I don't know
energy.
What it is. Yeah, everyone's got like a different, energy.
A glow.
Yeah, glow about them or something. And I remember when I was a kid, because I felt like I'd witnessed it once when, I don't know if you've... Oh, how was it? Have you ever been hit in the head or something like that? And
fuck yeah.
You see stars, though. You see like little... Yep. Or if you're about to faint and it's like tingly. It's almost tingly. And
I've never fainted, but I know you have quite a bit.
But there was something like...
I believe you. If I do like a really hard sneeze, I see like all the shit that floats in your eyeballs. I see that shit.
I think I used to get it when I used to yawn. Really, I had this massive yawn once or something. I can't remember, but it only used to happen at a certain time when I was a teenager. And I'd yawn and I'd start to see tingles and like little stars and stuff. Like it's almost like I wasn't going to faint or anything like that, but very lightheaded, and you could, Anyway,
you had like an experience, you'd say, or
it just happened sometimes if I yawn, and I'd but anyways.
I'm sure there's a scientific term for that, but please continue.
At that one time, because my eyes were all weird or something like tingly, I could see it like little auras around people's heads. Not strong. It was just like faint. It's like if you ever looked up at the sun, and sometimes you might see this massive, like aura around it.
Mm.
A giant circle. It's
Kind of like
almost,
a corona looking thing.
yeah,
around
like
it, yeah.
it's almost like not a rainbow, but it's just a massive circle
Yeah,
that goes
yeah, I know
around
what
it.
you're talking about.
Yeah, it's more of something to do with your optical. I can't remember, but it was like that. But I could see it around some people's heads, and it was only for like a little bit, and then it would go, and I was like, "What is that?" And it was almost like a little, yeah, but it wasn't colourful or anything. It was just like a real, yeah. It's hard to explain, but
No shit.
that kind of made me think: is that what she sees? It made me think: is that what the psychic sees? That
She's tapped
thing?
into that somehow.
I don't know, but I always used to get that when I was younger a bit, and I could see it for a glimpse.
You get a lot of people like that, you know, their relatives or parents or grandparents, you know, they've had some kind of spiritual connection or whatever to the other side, air quotes.
Yeah,
You know, or something like that, or to more, you know, they can sense things, they can feel things, you know, whether it's spiritual or it's a presence or, you know, it's emotional or something like that. You know, you can get a lot of people who kind of sense that sort of stuff. It's funny talking about
so we're going deep,
kind of
aren't we?
sensory experience. Yeah, fuck yeah. Like
going
fuck
real
the
deep.
Witcher. We'll do another Witcher episode, but this will be an uncut. The fucking beards talk about life in the universe. Uncut.
This is legit.
Talking about like sensory experiences and stuff. I told you about this because I did this recently. It actually kind of ties into this nicely. But I always wanted to do like a sensory deprivation. I always wanted to do like a sensory deprivation tank thing and see if I always just was curious about it. I always just wanted to try it and see what it was like.
Yeah.
So a buddy of mine actually, he has a membership to like the fucking Liquid Zen here in town. It's like the Roman baths and shit. And they have like float tanks and stuff. So you can go into the float tanks. You know, it's this big tank. You know, it's filled with X amount of water, but it's got that much salt in it that when you lay in it, your body floats.
I always think of that episode of Fringe, and she's in the float tank.
I think of the episode of The Simpsons
So
where Homer
calming
gets in
as
the
well.
sensory deprivation
Oh, really?
tank. Looks like a big tic tac and he gets in it. That's a good episode. But I always wanted to try it. So he's like, you know, he just happened to mention it one day. And I was like, fuck, I always wanted to try that. And he's like, oh, you should come with me one time. So I was like, righto. So after a while, we teed it up and we made an appointment. And we went up there to do float tanks. Obviously, we did separate tanks. We had separate tanks each, but we just both went at the same time.
Yep.
So I goes into this spa and that, and it's all very zen. All the ladies there, it's very sparish. They all talk very quietly and very softly, and come around here to the waiting area. You know, take off your shoes and socks before you enter into the room, and that way you find your way down to the bloody spa center and that or whatever. So I go in, and she's like, "Oh, you know, do you have got my shoes and that off?" And I'm walking around barefoot. And she's like, "Oh, you know, do you have your phone and everything and that? We prefer you have your phone turned off or on silent." And I'm like, "Oh, I've already turned it off." And she's like, "Oh, excellent. If you could just put all your effects here in this little nook or whatever." So I put my keys and my phone and my wallet and all that sort of, my glasses and all that sort of stuff in there. And so she walks me through this little waiting room. It's very dark. They've got like this one of those salt lamp things, the big rock things.
I've got one of those.
They've got like the salt lamp fucking there in the middle of the thing. I love them. Anyway, so she walks me down the corridor and she's kind of giving me the tour and she's like, "Here's our meditation room." And, you know, they've got like, it's like a tiered stadium seating kind of thing with all these cushions and that. You can go in there. It's a kind of real low light. You can go in there and meditate or whatever. So she takes me into like the actual float tank room. So he goes in and it's kind of like a little change room. So here's like all your stuff and that. Here is all your soaps and that. Before you go in, we ask you to have a shower. So there's like this overhead shower, and you go in, and she's like, just have like a lukewarm shower, because if you have a hot shower and you get in, the water will feel cold because the water is heated to your body temperature.
Yep.
So I was like, righto. So she goes out, and I strip off, have a shower. And so my plan was, because I was going to go in like me swimming shorts. But my mate said, he's like, "I always go in starkers. I go in naked." And I was like, well, fuck it. I'm going to do it naked too. Yeah. So I strip off and like there's like this big like fridge looking door in the wall, and you open it and there's this big like tank, like this big spa tank. And there's like music and that playing in there. It's real low, like like spa-ish music. And they've got like these low blue lights, like this blue lighting that goes up the wall. It's a real big room too. And it's probably about the size of this room, actually. It's pretty big, but it's probably not as wide. So she's like, you know, go in and you can choose to have the music playing and that. You know, she walked me through it. There's buttons in the thing. There's an emergency button. If you have trouble or whatever, you can hit it and they come running in to the door. Are you all right? Do you need help or whatever? So she's like, how do you want to do it? And I'm like, well, I kind of want to turn everything off. So maybe for a start, just have like the music and the lights and that on. Then after about 5 or 6 minutes, just have it all dim and turn off. She's like, right, no worries. So I go in and the music and that's playing, the lights are on. I'm kind of just trying to get situated in the tank. And when I was laying in the tank, like if I stretch my arms out all the way, I could touch either side of the tank. So it was a real big tank.
Yeah.
So you get in there, and after about 5 minutes, I'm getting sick of the music and the lights. So there's buttons under the water. You hit the buttons, you turn off the lights, you turn off the music. There's no noise, it's pitch black dark. My ears are just submerged under the water, so I can't really hear anything.
Yeah.
But if you have the music on, the speakers are under the water, so you hear everything perfectly. It's
okay.
like, you know, you're
That's weird.
Listening to like cast stereo or whatever, you know, it's like you're sitting in front of your stereo. So I'm laying in the tank and I'm trying to get situated to begin with because I just saw like Dylan Moran was in town from like Black Books and Shaun of the Dead, and I'd just seen him and I'm a massive fan, and he was standing like 3 feet away from me. So I had like this big fangirl moment. I was like, oh my God, it's Dylan Moran. I didn't like I talked to him, but I didn't like ask him for a photo or anything. I didn't want to be weird. He was going to do like a yoga class, so that was real cool. Anyway, so I'm in the tank, and for like the first like 5 or 6 minutes, I'm just trying to get situated. I'm just trying to like, just kind of like get into it. Kind of like let go a bit. So I'm fucking bare ass naked, floating in this tank, and after a while you kind of let go, kind of mentally. It's pitch black dark, you got your eyes and that closed, and I'm in this water, and then after a while, like, because if you move ever so slightly, you can feel yourself start to float to the side because the tank's that small. And so, like, to begin with, I was, like, floating to the side, and then my arm would bump on the side of the tank, and I'd be like, oh, fuck. Float back over, try to get back in the middle. So after a while, I kind of, like, I got real steady, and I was still. And then I kind of, like, went out of it. Like, you know, I kind of, like, detached a bit, you know, kind of from, not from reality, but I kind of just got in the moment and in the tank and that. And to begin with, like, I kind of wasn't thinking. I slowed my brain down eventually, and I was kind of just, like, in the tank and just kind of feeling it and stuff. And then after a while, like, it wasn't until I, like, came out of, like, that first thing, because I felt like it wasn't until afterwards I came out, and then I realized that, like, I couldn't feel, I was that still, the water wasn't rippling or anything, and I couldn't feel the sensation of the water because the water's heated to your body temperature.
Oh, wow.
And if you stay that still, the water doesn't move, and it just feels like you're floating. You're literally floating. And so, but I felt like, because there's that much salt in there, I felt like I was being like, it sounds weird to say, but I felt like there were like these two like gigantic hands, and they were just like cradling me, like one down my back and like one under my legs, and kind of just like cradling me like in space.
Yeah.
It's so weird to talk about, but I was just kind of felt like I was just in this black void of nothing.
That's
and there
awesome.
was no sound, there was no nothing, and it was real, like,
It's empty.
it was real peaceful.
Yeah.
So then I kind of come out of it, and I was back into reality, and I was like, oh, Dylan Moran. And then I kind of went, the second time I kind of went out, I kind of felt like, I don't know if your mind kind of creates an image or whatever, or it kind of goes hand in hand kind of with like the kind of like disembodied experience or whatever. But I kind of just had this image in my head. Like I wasn't thinking it. It kind of just like, it just came to me. I just felt like I could just see myself in like this pond. Like it was black all around me, and I could just, in my head, I could see just like these big like lamp lights like coming out of the water. And there was this massive, kind of like a street light. And there was like this one massive street light coming out of the, it was kind of like candy cane shaped. So it was like, had a big hoop. And there was like this big, like lighted ball on the top, like this street light. And it was kind of just in my head, I could just see it like illuminating me just in this spot. But it just felt like I was just in this endless black void, like this endless black pond of water.
Yeah.
And then the third, like I kind of came out of that and went back in. And then the third time, I kind of felt like I was just floating.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I felt like I was just spinning ever so slightly. Like I was
wow.
just like a fixed like clock handle, like pointing to like 12 and 6, and I was just kind of like, I just felt myself like slowly rotating.
That's awesome.
And then I kind of came out of it ever so slightly, and I was just like, I'm going to hit the side of the tank in a minute. And I just never did. And I was waiting for it and waiting for it and waiting for it, and it never happened. And I just felt like I was just like hands on a clock, just like kind of ever so slightly just floating in a circle, like real slow, but it was like the tank, all artifice of the tank had like fallen away.
That's awesome.
And I was just like in this endless nothing and just floating around and around.
I'll tell you about something that you'll really like. I don't know if you'll get into it. I don't know if it's your cup of tea, but this is something that I'm really into at the moment.
I've had a big glass of whiskey, mate. So I'm down for anything.
If you really want to tap into your body, like what there's another part that you haven't tapped into before.
Masturbation.
Sure. No. So remember I told you about ASMR as a thing?
Amazing Spider-Man what?
No, ASMR.
What's ASMR?
So I can't remember the actual...
Is this some kind of drug?
Name for... No.
Is this like...
Let me just quickly look up what that means.
Do we have to smoke weed?
No. So basically, ASMR is a...
All right, you look that up and I'll just tell you the end of my tank story.
Yes, sorry, I'll probably...
No, you're all right. So after this, like, the lights and that start to come back on, because you only get an hour in the tank, and the lights and that start to come back on, and the music creeps back up, and the volume comes back up. And then afterwards, she's like, take your time getting out of the tank, just orient yourself, sit up slowly, and then when you come out, have another shower, because you're covered in fucking salt, like from head to toe.
Oh, really?
And you're like, if you don't wash it all off properly, then you like stick your fingers in your ear later on, you'll be like salt in your ear everywhere. So afterwards, like, I come out, and you get to, like, you go back to, like, the first, like, little waiting room, like, when you first come in after I took off my shoes and socks, like, kind of the behind closed doors areas. Yeah. And you sit down, you get, like, a complimentary herbal tea, and they come in, because it was my first time, she come in, and she was like, how did you go? Like, did anything kind of happen while you were in the tank, And I was like, it's really weird. And then I kind of told them all the things that I just told you, but obviously a shorter version. And she's just sitting there, she's just nodding, and she's like, good. That's cool. That's really cool. And I was telling my mate, and he was so fucking zen. He's like this beautiful Irish motherfucker with like this amazing thick hair, which makes me so jealous. And he was just like zen as fuck. He couldn't get the grin off his face. He's just like, oh man, I feel so good and whatever and all this stuff. And I was like, man, I feel like really good too. But I think it's like, he kind of told me that the first time you go in, it's kind of like just finding out what it is, like getting an idea of being in the tank and kind of letting go and that sort of stuff. So he said probably if you decide to come again, you would get more out of the next go. So we're looking at making this like kind of a regular thing, like once a month we'll go and do it, because I felt really good after I did it. Like the next few days, like I felt really good, felt real clear, and I felt like, my mood and that was better. And then eventually after a couple of weeks, it kind of goes away. And then you kind of like, maybe I'll go back again. And you kind of like, it's building up to it again, kind of like anticipation.
Yeah.
Whereas if you went like every 2 weeks or something like that, you probably wouldn't get as much out of it. So to space it out, it's like a better idea. But no, I thought it was really good. I got like, I got something out of it, definitely. And I'm keen to go back and try it again.
I know what you mean with the, doing it too often kind of thing. It's similar.
It's like you lose the
thing.
It's like you lose the effects or whatever if you do it too much. It doesn't have as much of an effect as it would if you spaced it out a bit more. But tell me about this ASMR while I have another swig of this scotch.
Okay, so ASMR. So what it means is it stands for autonomous sensory meridian response. And basically what it is, ASMR is like a feeling that you can get in your brain, like around the back of your head. It's all mental, right? And this is something that I never knew that we had even, access to. But if you typed in ASMR into like YouTube, it's an entire genre of videos, or just there's people that just upload ASMR videos. They basically help you get super relaxed, and they put you in this like I watch it before bed, right? Every night.
No shit.
Not every night, whenever I can. And so I'll watch an ASMR video, like a good one, and it's basically people just, they'll be really calm and whispering, and they'll be, I don't know, flipping pages in a book, or they make sounds up at the microphones and stuff, and they do like little taps and like, tap on the back of a phone or something like that, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And they'll have all these types of things. Sounds weird, and some people think it's a bit of a, they're like, oh, it's a fetish or something like that, but it's not. It's
no, not at all. No.
What it is.
I know something similar you're talking about. I'll say in a minute. Please continue.
So what it is this is an actual thing. This sensory response. This happens. So people, you watch these videos. When I started to watch them, it was super sensitive, right? Because I never even knew it existed. So I first was just laying in bed. I was like, all right, I'll give this a go. And I watched a video, and it's real calming. And my heart rate started to get right down, right? Because you're just watching this video, and it's super calming. And then you basically, like, your heart rate's down to a level where you would be if you were sleeping. And then when you'll hear certain sounds that you really like on the video that are really just I don't know, there's something about them, and you get this shiver up the back of your head, and it goes right up to the top of your head.
What the fuck?
It's almost like goosebumps, and you feel like your hair's just like, and it's just like,
your spider sense is tingling.
It's like that, and it's the most relaxing thing, and you're just like, oh, that's like a big rush, like through the back of your head.
It's kind of making me nervous now. It's just like, what the fuck is this cult shit you're into?
And it actually is a thing. And then they call it the tingle. It's called a thing. And
the Patrick tingle.
Yeah. And so everyone in the ASMR community or wherever is always after that tingle, because if you watch it every night or whatever, and you do get what's the word? It goes away a bit because you
get desensitized to it because you do it too much.
You're too used to it, and then so I don't get it anymore. I just watch it for the relaxation. My heart rate goes right down, and then I go to sleep. Like, I'll just turn the video off, and then I'm just like asleep.
What
in
the
30
fuck?
seconds, and it's so good.
Sounds almost like it's a kind of like a natural mental high.
It is
kind of like a.
Have you
think of like a drug hit without the drugs, but it's all mental.
Have you ever? This is where I used to experience as a kid, and I never realized it. You probably did too. So think of back in like kinder, or if you're in like school when you're real young, right? And there's the teacher, and she's in the front. She's like, class, we're gonna sit down at story time or whatever.
Oh, fuck, I love story time.
And everyone's quiet, and there's just a little bit of rustling, and she's just calmed the mood completely and turning pages real relaxingly.
Or when you got to sleep in class, that was good.
Yeah, when I was a kid, and she used to read stories or whatever, it was real calming. And I'd get that kind of feeling, and I'd feel super relaxed, and a big tingle would just shiver up over my spine and shoulders, right up through my head. And I'd get that as a kid, and I remember it, because you still remember them. Even when I remember there would be a teacher who would come over and help you, and like, she'd come and help you with your schoolwork or something in the class, or, and take over. And it's just like the fact that someone's helping you and doing this thing and showing you something, and it's mesmerizing to just watch them use the pen or do something, and it's just real calming. And I used to get like that same kind of feeling. It used to happen way back.
It's almost like a focus thing.
It's a focus thing, yeah.
You're fucking blowing my mind here. You're opening me up to like a world of shit I never. I'm not drunk enough for this. I got to keep drinking.
I'm gonna link you a video later, and you try it before you go to bed, and see if you can get relaxed.
Now, it's funny you mention that, because I am the kind of person that sometimes when I go to bed, because I'm a very imaginative person, always have been. My mind fucking races all the time, mile a minute.
Yep.
When I go to bed, sometimes I can't sleep. And last couple of years, you know this, I downloaded the Jeff Bridges, he did this album, it was called Sleeping Tapes.
You showed me that. That was great.
And it was like 12 tracks
of
like Jeff Bridges. He kind of just went out into the world and just like recording him. Like there are some fucking great tracks on there, like him just doing like this little musical stuff, very soft and like tapping into the fucking universe and that. But my favorite kind of stuff to listen to kind of help me kind of relax, something to focus on.
Yep.
and for me to like detach from my mind to help me stop thinking. Because, like, you can't just, like, stop thinking, because you're still thinking. You can't actually stop yourself thinking. Like, I've found that I have to focus on something else for me to tune out. And sometimes that helps me fall asleep. So, like, I used to listen to, like, Jeff Bridges' like, sleeping tapes.
That's great.
And he would have, like, tracks you could hear him just, like, walking.
That's technically ASMR, that is.
Just, like, walking through long grass.
Yeah,
and you could just hear, like, ground and twigs and that crunching underneath.
Yep.
And, like, my favorite track, I think it was track 7, but he would walk along and you would hear like a stream in the background, like you would hear water and that, birds chirping and stuff.
And it's like you're dreaming almost, because you feel like you're in the dream following.
And he kind of talked you through like this metaphysical kind of shit and that, like he'd be walking along like, oh, there's some hang gliders in that, there's a guy down there, he looks like a Tom, he's like, hello Tom, or whatever, and that he's like, oh, I didn't hear us, let's keep moving, we're hiking up to the top of this mountain. And then you would hear him hiking and stuff.
This was before I got into ASMR, and you showed me that.
And then he would like at the end of the track, like he got to the top and he's like, I didn't want to tell you this. He's like, but I put some hang gliders up here. We're going to hang glide. He's like, right, you take yours. And then you hear him like, it's like, take off. And you hear him kind of like, off in the distance. And then you hear like, like all the wind and stuff. And it's something that like helps me focus on that, like, and just quietly detach. But when I do stuff like that, I have to have it, I can't have it too loud. If it's too loud, it's too prominent and I'm too focused on it. So I have to turn it down to like just a manageable level where I can hear it, but it's still quiet enough where if I went to sleep, it wouldn't wake me up if it was still going. So I used to listen to that, but I've since lost those tracks because that was on like 2 phones ago. But now I have like some audio books on my phone. So instead of having the sleeping tapes and that, which I'd love to get back, by the way, I've got to download those again. But I have a couple of audio books. Like I'll put the audio book on and I'll turn it down, and I'll just lay in bed for like 10 to 15 minutes and just listen to this audio book. And it just helps me stop to think. It helps my mind stop racing. Helps me detach, and I kind of just focus on that. And then eventually, I'll just
get into the ASMR stuff.
Fall asleep.
Just look it up. I'll link you one later.
It's interesting, but it kind of scares me a little bit.
Nah, it's nothing to be scared. I'll see, like. You remember about a year and a half ago, I don't know if you remember, but I had a real hard time sleeping. Like, this was around when after Jackson was born, and I don't know why, but I just couldn't switch off, and I was up till sometimes 2 a.m. still thinking. My mind had just raced, and I just couldn't go to sleep. And it was even that time when you introduced me to that Jeff Bridges thing. Like that was like 3 years ago or something, and I. That I wasn't sleeping well then either, but you showed me that app, put me to sleep. But anyway, about a year and a half ago, and I found ASMR. It was just popped up on, I think it was Reddit or something, and I was like, what is this? And it's super relaxing, and I discovered that it was an actual whole thing, and it's actually massive. There's like some YouTubers, they have like millions of views and stuff.
No shit.
Because it's just a lot of people need it. It's like a therapy thing. I find it really, really good.
I think people's lives are like now, especially in this day and age, like we're so technology focused. We're all so busy. I mean, times have changed now. Like particularly like when I was a kid growing up, like my dad worked. He worked underground in a mine, and he worked like a lot of long hours and stuff. And his wage was good enough where it could support the entire family, and my mum didn't need to work because, we had, they had 3 kids who were all like 2 years apart, and somebody needed to be home to look after the kids. So, like, my mum didn't have to work. She was pretty much just a housewife, a homemaker or whatever. They call it a homemaker now, but back in the day, she was just a bloody housewife, you know. But now in this day and age, you can't do that unless you're very well off, like a lot of people, which a lot of people aren't, a lot of people aren't well off, they work a lot of hours and, a lot of people work multiple jobs and that. So life at the moment is very stressful, as well as being tuned in to like instantaneous information and that, like hearing all this shit in the world, like so negative, like at the moment, like the bushfires we have in Australia, to like, just on a quick tangent, but to talking about nature and the universe and the earth and like as evolved as we are, fuck, we're at the mercy of Mother Nature because she is such a bitch. She can just bend over and fuck us in the ass anytime she wants, because the amount of because Australia is such a dry continent, And like we're in summer at the moment, and that like we get like these real bad like dry lightning strikes, and that's what causes a lot of
It
fires.
came super early too. It was
I know.
like 3 months ago. It came
I know.
before summer.
And like it's getting to the point now where people are having to like evacuate Victoria. Like it's that bad.
Yeah.
Like getting toward the kind of
like
eastern state, like the eastern side of the
It
state
feels
of
like the
Victoria.
fires aren't going to end. It feels like.
I mean, I was down the east coast of Tassie here, like 4 or 5 days ago, and it was fine. It was real hot down there, but it was like super dry. And as I was driving through, because it's all plains and shit, dry grass and that, I'm like, fuck, if there was a fire here, fuck, it'd be bad. And literally like 2 days later, there's fires down there. We had dry lightning strikes, and we've got fires down there everywhere at the moment now. But what was I talking about before that?
I've
forgotten.
I'm lost too. What were we talking about? I can't remember now.
How's this for an uncut episode? I don't know. What was I talking about? I was talking about...
I was on it too.
I've lost it.
I've lost it too, mate.
I've lost it. That's all right.
I was thinking about the bushfires too much. You were talking about
how life's so hectic.
how your mind's just run all the time and you can't
it's
stop
just
thinking.
Like people need that shit now because like life is so busy, jobs are so hectic. People still have to come home. You know, like people not being able to stay home. Like people want the jobs, they want the families and that, but you know they've got to work these jobs so they can send the kids to daycare so they can still go to work. Yeah. And then they come home, they got to pick the kids up from daycare and that, and they come home, they got to get food and that ready. Instantaneous information where we find out, like the bushfires, about all this bad stuff that's going on in the world. Like everything's just so negative. Like we don't get as much positive stuff as we should. Like there are so many, like we need more positive things in our life.
That's why,
and just to have small things like that, like apps you can put on where you're like, what do you want to listen to help you fall asleep? Ocean waves. Do you want a light shower? Do you want rain on a tin roof? Do you want slight thunderstorms as well? I used to have this like rain app where I could layer shit, so I could put on like rain on a tin roof, and you could set the volume. Yeah, so you're like, do you want it really loud? Kind of have it about halfway. Yep. Put a little bit of thunder in the background that only kind of pops in like a third of the time. You could kind of like add this like custom tailored like
that's cool
rainfall app and shit. Like you could listen to all your ocean waves and all that. Do you want birds in the background? You can have some seagulls and that. You know, mine. You know, but it's shit like that. Like just to help people detach because our minds are so busy. There's so much going on. We're so focused, and like shit like social media and that doesn't help. All the negative shit we see on there doesn't fucking help.
Sometimes I'll be going to sleep, right? And I'll be, you know, when I go to bed, I like to kind of scroll through my phone a bit and just look at just useless just stuff, you know, just...
Don't we all? We all do it.
Scrolling through the feeds and stuff.
Yeah, I do it.
And then I get to a point and I'm like, what am I doing? I'm like, I've been doing this for like 25 minutes or half hour, and I'm like, I could have been probably asleep by now. Like, you know, I feel like I'm just wasting my time. And I was like, what am I actually doing? So I'll just shut it off straight and put it down. I'm like, and then I'll try and go to sleep.
The thing that phones have now that make you feel really guilty is that you can check your screen time for the day. And so you can look at your phone and it tells you how long your screen's been active for the day.
Oh, yeah.
And like, I checked mine the other day. Like I had a day off, I don't know, whatever it was. But I just come across it like when I was going to bed and I looked at it and my screen time for the day was like 6.5 hours.
Oh, really?
And I was like, what the fuck? I've spent like 6.5 hours today like on my phone. Like whether it's just... Because, I'm not necessarily on my phone, but a lot of the time I'll have YouTube on. And I'll have like podcasts playing like off YouTube, and I'll just have it in the background while I'm farting around or while I'm in the car and stuff like that. So obviously all those kind of, probably 3 hours of that added toward it, 4 hours of that because I listen to a lot of long fucking podcasts. Yep. But a lot of that fucking adds to it, and geez, it makes you feel guilty and shit. You're like, all this stuff like I could have done. Like I just find myself just like pulling my phone out and just checking and stuff like that. Like even tonight, like, we were at Bunnings and we're standing in the checkout line. I pulled out my phone and just had a quick look at it. And I knew there was nothing on there. But I just pulled it out and just looked at it real quick. Put it in my pocket. And then it blim and it went off and I pulled it out. And it was a text from you. And I was like, oh, Patrick Brown. Yep, I'm coming over later. Right?
Yeah, I get a bit of that reflex too. So I'm like, if I find... it happens to me when I get to a point where I'm like a little bit bored. Like if I'm like you, standing in line or I'm waiting for something...
It's a
And I'm
reflex.
like,
You would
it's
just pull it out.
I'm like, I'm bored, so I'll quickly like won't even think about it. And it's just in my hand, and I'm looking at it, and I'll do it if I'm just finally relaxing on the couch for 5 minutes. You know, kids might be running around for a bit or something,
and majority of the time, you know, when you pull it out, there's going to be nothing on there. Like, you know, you've got like 6 seconds or 10 seconds, so you just pull it out like while you're waiting in the checkout line.
Yeah,
and you pull it out and you check it, even though you know there's going to be nothing on there. But I still did it earlier tonight, and I'm like, what the fuck, man? What are you doing? And then, blim, as soon as I put it in my pocket, it went off. I was like, now a reason to check it. I got a text from Patrick Brown.
I do it even when I'm just like uploading a file to an email or something. It takes like, I'm like, oh, it looks like it's taking too long. It's like 10 seconds.
It's going to take 24
and I'm like,
seconds.
oh, I'm going to get on my phone. It's so bad. I need to kind of like try and push away from that. But yeah.
What do we do? How do we detach from technology? I mean, the human race is so technologically ingrained now. Like, I mean, when we were kids, we'd go out. I'd be out all day. I'd get on my bike and just ride my bike around town all day, like all afternoon. And then mum would just be like, when the street lights come on, come home. Like, righto, mum, done. Yeah. Like, I didn't have to have phones. I didn't have to have any of that. There was none of this,
good.
Constant. I mean, times were different even fucking 22 years ago, 24 years ago.
I like to think that's why I got into art so much, because I was always the kind of kid that was just energy, like not energy, it was more imagination. I just was always thinking, and I was like, I got to do something. Like I'd be bored easily, and I had to do something. So I put all that into drawing. I'd just sit there and sketch. I mean, when there's no technology around and phones and shit, this is back in like the 90s or whatever. So I'd probably just start putting my energy into drawing. Maybe if technology was around back then, I probably wouldn't be an artist. I don't know. Who knows? Maybe I'd be too busy scrolling through Facebook or something. But
it's hard now because, you know, even when I was out the other day, I was out somewhere. Where was I? I was out having a meal somewhere or something. We were eating, and I just looked over the table next to me, and there was this mother there, and she was sitting there on her phone. And then I looked, and she had the kid there in the chair while he was eating, and had the phone set up there on the stand, and he was watching something on the phone. And I'm just like, geez, like, you just can't, like, I don't know what's happened, but
it's like they're right there with each other, but they're so distant.
We can't do it anymore. Like, no one has patience. No one has tolerance. Like, we're addicted to technology as much as we need it. We're fucking addicted to it.
Yeah, we are.
And like, yes, I am addicted to my phone in a lot of ways, but I rely on my phone a lot now. Like, my phone pretty much has access to everything. Yeah. Like, at a click of a switch, I can find out if a shop's open, you know?
Yeah.
Or I can access my bank account, like, on the fly. Like it used to, I would have to pull the laptop out, fire it up, jump online, jump on my banking website, log in, and then check my bank. Yeah. But now I can pull it out and I can put in, you know, my password and that, and boom, I'm into it straight away. And I can transfer money. I can do that, like at the checkout or whatever.
This is why I was so hooked on them, because they are pretty amazing devices. They do anything.
Instantaneous access to what we need, also what we don't need, and instantaneous access to information, majority of which is negative and bad.
Yeah, and look, I might bitch about these phones and things like that sometimes, but I also am a bit half and half. So I'm kind of like...
Same, totally. Everyone is.
I think that it does suck that we are quite detached from other people as well. Like I said, it makes you wonder how many people might have a certain talent if they didn't have a phone. Like, you know, like I said, I started drawing because I used to just want to do something, and I'd put that effort into, I'd be like, I'm just gonna pick up pencil and paper and start doing that. You know, if I had a phone, then maybe I wouldn't have done that. But, you know, it makes you wonder how many people. But also what I mean is I also do think it's the future as well. So I think evolution wise, it's going to make us a lot smarter. We're going to just jump right up we're just going to skyrocket now over the next 100 years, 200 years. I think it's making us smarter. Maybe we are going to be less human in a way.
Dumber. Also dumber.
Yeah, it could be. But there are going to be select few of us that are just going to be super smart, and it's going to help us a lot, I think.
It's the kind of thing where, you know, we talk about phones and stuff in our pockets. I pull out my phone and I look at my phone. Well, if you said that to someone like 20 years ago, like I pulled out the phone and I was looking at like,
where's the cords?
like, you fucking crazy person, you just stare at your phone for 20 fucking minutes?
Yeah.
It's not, we call it a phone because technically, yes, that's what it is. But everything we have in our pocket, it's a mini fucking computer in our pocket.
Yeah.
You know, it's a personal computer, it's a camera,
Yep.
it's a telephone, it's an instant messaging device. You know,
can
it's
play
all these things
fucking-
rolled into one. But we just call it a phone because
Play
it's a
video
phone.
games on it.
You can play games.
Play fucking
You can watch
Witcher on it.
porn. You can do anything you want. You can transfer money to the other side of the planet instantly. Like, it's fucking insane.
You
like
don't
how
even
advanced.
need a wallet
15
anymore.
years ago, we didn't even have this. I've got my phone in my hand and I'm shaking it as an example.
And
Old man
phones-
fucking yells at cloud. Fuck it.
Phones are basically your wallet now too. Like my wife has
You've
a
got,
certain
like-
case that holds all the cards in as well. But
And you've got like
one
Google
thing.
Pay and stuff in that now.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
you link your
It's all
card to your
digital.
account. You bring up Google Pay and you can just tap that on the FPOS device.
My card declined the
You
other
don't
day.
even need your fucking card.
yeah, my card declined the other day, so I just logged in real like 30 seconds later. I just transferred the money over on the spot,
Yeah.
and I had money
I've done exactly the same
right
thing.
there ready to go.
Oh
and-
shit! I thought I had that money in. Oh no, something debited it out or whatever.
Yeah.
And fucking or whatever. So I fucking transferred some money over and easy done. Boom, like that.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like this, it's just insane what you can do. So
But it's funny, like looking at your phone, like you can access so much information. Like you can download. There are so many apps for so many different things. You can learn about geography. You can learn other languages. You can learn how to play. I found an app which fucking teaches you how to play guitar on a fucking app. It teaches you how to play guitar.
Yeah.
Like the amount of as far as technology's come. Like I spoke to Bob about this. Because Bob went to uni, he went to film school, he did all these courses, and you pay all this money to go to uni and stuff. Whereas now, all the stuff like he's into, you're into, you know, kind of all the artistic, creative stuff and that, we would go to schools and do that. We would pay a fortune, buy secondhand fucking textbooks that were like $80 each, and, you know, you'd use them for 12 months and never use them again. But now times have changed because anything like that you want to do, if you want to do a graphic design course, you don't have to go down to your local TAFE or to your local university and do a Bachelor of Creative fucking Art or whatever. You can literally pay $12, $13, $14 a month and jump on Skillshare and have access to thousands and thousands and thousands of classes where qualified people have created courses and that and like information and that where you can learn this stuff. It's literally like paying a Netflix subscription. And you can learn all this stuff. You can learn anything. You can learn business. You can learn photography. You can learn origami. You can fucking learn anything now. So it's almost like a lot of these like tertiary schools and that are almost becoming obsolete in a lot of ways.
it's like most things as well. Even if you just want to fix something around the house, like I've done it a million times, and I'm like, how do I fix this sliding door or a doorknob? How do I do the door handle? And I look on YouTube real quick on my phone, how to, and it's like, it's showing me how to change a doorknob and stuff like that, you know, and it's just right there. It's just,
Isn't that the thing? That would be like the stuff our dads would teach us, like, you know,
yeah,
here's you pull it apart and you do this. It's like a trial and error thing. Like they would do it, or like, you know, my dad can fucking fix anything, and I can't fix shit. Like it's that generational kind of
too.
thing where like we have become so reliant on technology and calling in other people to fix stuff that if we really tried, we could do it ourselves. You know.
I know.
But yeah, you know, it's kind of like I don't know where the human race is going. I think we could do well, but it's going to be hard. Like, I mean, a lot of the wrong people are in charge of all these things. There's too much. There's too much greed. There's too much money in the world. There's, you know, everything's about money. Like politicians don't want to change anything because they've got all these like corporations and shit like in their back pockets, like funding their campaigns and their political parties and all this sort of shit. And no one wants to change anything because if they did, the money would stop.
Yeah.
Isn't that fucked?
I know. Have you seen the Boston Dynamics? That's pretty much Skynet for you.
kindness, Jesus. Boston Dynamics have got a lot of crazy shit coming out.
Impressive. Have you seen their robots?
I saw this video the other day about, you look at the human race now and how far we've come and how technologically advanced we've become.
Yeah.
You think about, like, car factories and stuff, like car manufacturers and that. And you think, like, well, the majority of car manufacturing now is automated. Yeah. It's all machines, it's all cutting-edge automation and that. But there are still a lot of roles that need to be filled by flesh and blood people. And I saw this video the other day. I'm pretty sure it was Ford. I think it was Ford. They've created, like, well, I don't know if they've created, someone else has created it, but they have, like, in their factory for their workers to wear these fucking exoskeletons. So they wear these exoskeleton things on their back. It's like this harness thing they wear, and it goes around their shoulders, around their chest, and down their arms and stuff. Because they're underneath cars, and they're forever like reaching up, screwing stuff, smashing stuff, whatever. And they said we got these in because we noticed we were getting like a lot of reports and stuff of people coming in with shoulder, neck, and back injuries after just like wear and tear on the human body, like constantly doing the same actions over and over.
Yeah.
Reaching up and craning your head back to see something and getting bad necks and stuff. So they brought in these fucking harnesses and that for these guys and girls to wear that take the fucking load off. Like this guy on this video, he did this test where I can't remember what it was. He had like a paint can or something like that. So he did a test. So he's like, right, I'm going to hold up a paint can in my hand outstretched and see how long I can do it.
Yep.
And he did it for like 60-something seconds. And then he's like, now I'm going to wear the harness and see how long I can do it with the same hand wearing this harness. And he held it up for like another minute and a half longer. And the whole point of the harness is to... what was it? It was like to move the weight distribution that around and just ever so slightly aid in lifting and moving of limbs and stuff, taking stress off shoulders and upper backs and necks and stuff.
Yeah.
Just to pretty much cut back on workplace injury and workplace wear and tear and shit. Good. I'm like, fucking hell, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Like I've never heard anything like that. That's amazing.
That's really good to jump up, isn't it?
And the amount of like prosthetics and shit you see now. Like, you'd see someone with a fake leg, it would tuck
People get them 3D printed.
They would tuck over their nubs and stuff, and they would just have, like, this fake leg and stuff, or a peg leg, or, like, a fucking pirate or whatever. But now you see, like, pro athletes, they've got, like, those curved fucking, like, it's almost like a hook-looking foot, like a spring foot fucking thing. And they're running on these fucking things and that. You're like, oh, my God.
Imagine
isn't that amazing?
Having two legs like that, you'd just bounce like you'd be launching across. Like I think I've seen something like that before, and they can just really put some speed into it.
And 3D printers, where the fuck did 3D printers come from? Yeah. They've only been around like what 5-10 years, something like that. Not even that. But I've only really heard about them for like the last probably 4 or so years, 3, 4, 5 years.
I was just watching this really good video of a 3D pen, and it's a pen that forms out the 3D matter or whatever it is and you're just drawing and creating a sculpture with a pen. They made Sonic the Hedgehog. I'll link it to you later. It's actually really satisfying to watch. This guy just forming something out of nothing, and he's just making Sonic. And but the 3D printers, they blow my mind.
And people can create, like you can buy 3D printers at home. Yeah, and you can create anything. There
was a girl I saw online, and she was missing a limb, like an arm, her whole arm, and they used a 3D printer to create her a whole new arm, and she looked exactly. It was the same kind of arm, like out of Alita Battle Angel. Like she just had like a really similar kind of arm like that, like a robotic, and it was functioning.
Had like that silver-looking musculature and shit.
Yeah, yep. It was, and hers was pink though. She wanted to make it a really nice design. So cool to see, and it was all just done on a 3D printer.
It's like I was talking about before. Like we discovered fire, and that was the biggest thing we'd ever discovered, and that led to so much right up until right now as we're sitting here. But now, like I see videos like that. That's just reminded me of something else. Like, I saw this girl who'd lost her arm, and they created like a prosthetic, like robotic animatronic limb. But they can, I don't know how they do it, but just by wearing it, it attaches to like the nerves and that. So even when she's like thinking of the actions and that, Like, I don't know how it works, but the nerve impulses and that are read into the arm, and it moves the fingers and the thumb and the hand and the wrist and everything. I'm like, what the fuck?
Jesus.
Cutting edge fucking technology.
Yeah.
Skynet, mate, it's coming. It's coming. There'll be fucking machines walking down the road delivering your mail and that next.
It's already here.
What about drones? My brother got a fucking drone for Christmas. I was flying it around. I was like, look at this fucking thing. It was like a swarm of bees flying overhead. I was like, fucking.
Do you know what I did? I crashed my drone the other day.
Did you?
The other week, sorry, and snapped the blade off. It's like crashed it pretty bad. I've got the video on my phone.
You can get replacement blades for those, mate. They're super cheap.
I've got 4 replacements, so that's already fine.
What the fuck?
And because this was when I was up camping, and I just took it out, and I got a bit cocky. There was one time I nearly put it into the ocean.
No, in the drink.
Because I was trying to be real cocky, and I was like, I'm going to get super low, and I was like going around the waves are crashing onto the rocks. It was really cool. So I got real low, and it was just, the video is intense to watch because it's just basically skimming the water. I reckon if it just went down like 5 centimeters, it would have just clipped it and went into the water. But then I swept it around because it survived that, and I just brought it up. And as I was coming back around, I was like, I'm going to come in real hot and real close to me. And then swooped it back around. I was like, oh, come too fast. And I went to swoop up, and it just dived into the tree and just went, smashed into the rocks and everything. And yeah, but it was okay. It's tough. So just broke a blade off, and it's got some dents and dings. I lost a screw where the camera goes in, but that's about it.
You can go to Bunnings and get another screw. They got millions of fucking screws.
The footage is pretty funny to watch.
You can go down to Nuts and Bolts, Tasmania. They'll fucking have everything down there.
I'll show you later once we're finished.
Did I ever tell you I did meditation once?
No. Meditation.
I did meditation once. Years and years ago, you know this.
And it worked?
I had a real bad breakup with an ex-girlfriend, and I went to like therapy for 3 months. Not that I needed it, I just wanted someone else's opinion. Yeah. You know, who wasn't in my immediate circle, who was fucking qualified to talk to me. Yeah. So I went and talked to this bloke for a couple of months. And one day I walk in, and he's like, oh, would you like to try some meditation today? And I was like, yeah, sure. I'll give it a go. So he's sitting there, and like he was just qualified to do meditation or whatever. So he's talking me through it, and like to start with, he's like, you know, I was sitting in like this old style like padded chair with these fucking rolled arms and that. It was real cushy. You sit real low in it too. And I was sitting in it, and like to begin with, he's like, right, we're gonna go close your eyes and that, just breathe, and did like this breathing exercise and shit, counting down and stuff. And then he's like, excuse me, I've had a lot to drink. He's like, right, now we're going to go through every part of your body, and we're going to stretch every part of your body. So pretty much I think it was like started at my feet and made my way up. So it's like, get real tense and like, now stretch your legs out, hold that for a few seconds and stretch this. And we really just want to loosen you up. Like all down my arms and my fingers and my neck and my back and my waist, everything. Stretched everything. So, and then I'm sitting there, and he's like talking me through it. Because it was like an hour session, and I think he talked me through it for like half hour or something like that. Yeah. And because where the office and that was, the main street was just like his office was at the front of the building, and then probably, you know, from where I was sitting, probably about 40, 50 feet away was the street, like outside, and I could hear cars like shoom, 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 cars going past. So I'm sitting there, and I'm like doing the meditation, and he's talking me through it. And I'm really getting into the zone. And then it got to the point, because what was this? This was fucking like 7 years ago. I got to the point where I was in the chair, and I felt so light. Like, I felt like I was floating out of the chair. Yeah. It's fucking weird. It's weird to explain. And because a lot of it, he was trying to like, getting you to stop thinking, because it's like your mind races and that. It's like trying to get you to stop thinking without realizing that you need to stop thinking. And so eventually when I got to that point, it's just like I was so like internalized that afterwards when I come out, I realized that I couldn't hear the traffic anymore. Yeah. Like I was that deep in, like traffic was only 50 feet away, and you could hear it shum, 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 out the front. And then I realized that I couldn't hear it anymore. There was nothing. There was silence. I channeled all that out. Yep. And I felt like, because I was sitting in this chair and my arms were like a little bit higher than they would. They kind of, you weren't sitting, your arms were down low. My arms were a little bit higher. I was sitting in this like deep bucketish kind of chair. And I literally felt like, to begin with, it just felt like my arms were just floating like out of the chair. Yeah. And then I felt like I was floating. It's so fucking weird to describe. But if anyone says like, hey, try meditation, like be willing to give it a go, because fuck, it works. Like it really does work. Like if you've got someone who can talk you through it or talk you to that place,
I think
it's worth it.
I had something similar when someone tried to hypnotize me once.
Oh shit!
Yeah, she was qualified and everything, and but okay. I'm not. I can't really be. I've never been hypnotized. I can't. It doesn't work on me.
She gets you in there, and then she's like grapefruit, and you're like woof 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 woof. It's like those magic shows where they say like, oh, I wasn't even hypnotized, and then they're like, and then they say some trigger word, and they start like acting like a chicken or something like that, and they say it, and they come out of it, and they're like, why am I sitting on the ground with my pants on?
Yeah, I still don't believe that it can work, but because I don't know, I just couldn't personally get under it, and but it did get me down to that relaxed state like you, and I had that similar feeling. You feel like you're floating, and like real light and super relaxed. And I know what you mean. It was exactly like that. But whenever she got to the point where she was trying to, I don't know, hypnotize me or make a command or something, I'd just be like myself. I'd still be like, nah, it's not me. It's not working. Like I couldn't just do whatever she was trying to do, the command or whatever it was. Yeah, it didn't work. Like I couldn't get that deep. I couldn't get to that level. So yeah, but it was interesting. It was good. It was relaxing.
No shit.
Yeah.
Fuck. That's crazy.
It's good stuff.
I don't know if I've really got much more to say. I think I've kind of said everything I wanted to say. This is like the ultimate tangent episode. Awesome.
Yeah, we just
this is like the biggest tangent episode.
Didn't expect this. We just went.
I was ready to talk about The Witcher, which we will get to. We'll get to a Witcher show. We'll do a Witcher show next.
Yeah,
but yeah, I don't know. Like, what do you want out of the rest of your life?
I just
like what do you want? Where do you want to go? What do you want out of this planet? Do you want to go anywhere? Do you want to experience anything?
Yeah.
Do you want to learn another language? Do you want to go to the moon? Do you want to prove the moon's not real and we're actually on a flat Earth? Like what do you want to do? Like, is there any experiences, like anything that life or the Earth has to offer that you want to experience before you check out?
Yeah, definitely. My main thing is I want to live long, so like I want to start looking after myself enough to, just so I can kind of guarantee that a bit more. And I know sometimes you can't control that. I mean, cancer, things like that can hit anyone. But I would like to live long. I want to be able to experience and witness and see how far humanity and everything can go in my lifetime. I want to see what happens. I'm really fascinated by all of that. So, and you
want to hang on to like the PlayStation 10 comes out.
Yes,
and we're like playing Grand Theft Auto 20.
It sounds silly, but I do want to be around for
see how far gaming advances.
That's what I want. I want to experience how good gaming can get.
We're up to MCU phase 30.
I feel really, and movies as well. I love movies. I just want to be able to.
He's like, I'll die when a good Terminator movie comes out.
How good they can get. But my other thing is the usual thing everyone wants is just be happy. I want to be like ultimately just happy, like,
and plus your kids in that area as well, so you probably want to see them grow up and have their kids of their own as well.
That's the main thing. Like
the typical the dad response.
Happy includes that. Like that's the family. I've thankfully got all that now, and real grateful, and I want to be able to see that grow and just like. But I want to stay happy in that because it's hard. It brings you. You go through a lot of different stages, and it's hard.
Life's
work.
Tough, man. Beats you down. It can beat you down.
It's been tough, but I've always ultimately been happy overall, and there's hard times and it brings you down, but then you just come back and you're fine, and it's good. And I just want to be able to make sure I'm, come through, as an older, more wise, hopefully, and smart person in the end and just happy. Yeah.
And you're waiting for the aliens.
What about you? Yeah. I want to be there for the invasion.
Well, I want to be around till till they prove that Bigfoot's real.
yeah.
No, like I'm much like you. Like I want to be happy. I am happy. But there's so much that I haven't done, and I do think about it. Like, I think about how old I'm getting and how fleeting life actually is and how much I haven't done. Like, I've always wanted to learn how to play guitar, and I've had that guitar sitting out there for about 12 fucking years.
Yeah.
I started to learn, but then my teacher got a girlfriend, and then that stopped very quickly. But now, like I was saying, there are apps where you can learn to play guitar. It's more the fact that time is precious and time is fleeting. But then at the same time, on the flip side of that coin, which is something I say very often, you do have a lot of time, and you can have time if you make that time.
Yeah.
And I want to learn how to play that fucking guitar out there. I really do. There are some places I really want to go in the world. I've never left Australia. I've only ever been to Melbourne, I've been to Surfers Paradise, I've been to Brisbane a couple of times, and I've been all around Tassie, but that's it. Aside from that, I've never been anywhere else.
Yeah.
So many places I want to go. I've always wanted to go to Alaska.
Oh, yeah?
For some weird reason. I just want to see, like, the Alaskan wilderness, and I just want to, like, stand in it for a day.
Yeah.
And just, like, the quiet and... I don't know. Just the smell. It's weird. I just want to, like, experience it, hear it, smell it, see it, taste it, taste the air in my mouth. This sound like a hippie-ish fucking thing to say.
No.
But, there are places I want to go.
You want to live it.
There are things I want to see. There are things I want to do. I would love this to reach a large audience and this thing we do, and it's fun, and I love doing it. This is such a random episode. Like, we came in here ready to talk about The Witcher for an hour, and now we're talking about life and spiritualism and the universe, and there's the ultimate tangent episode.
And aliens.
The fucking aliens. I want to see the aliens. I want the aliens to be real. I would love to actually see a UFO.
They're probably tuning in.
They're tuning in right now. The Men in Black are going to knock on my door when this fucking episode comes out. But yeah, I just want to be happy. I want to do more.
Yeah.
I want to see more. I want to be more, Yeah. I want to be... I feel like I'm a pretty good bloke, but also, like, I am human, and I am fallible, and I have a lot of things that I need to work on, like, personally, like we all do. We're not perfect, but we can strive to be better. And that's what I want to do. I want to be better. I want to be a better friend. I want to be a better partner. I want to be a better bloke. I want to be a better man, My hero in life is my dad. He's the best bloke I know. And it took me a long time to figure out. But when I did, I realized that I wanted to be like my dad. Yeah. Like, I am so much like my dad. Like, I look at photos of us side by side, and there's no mistaking who my father is. Yeah. But, like, he's the best man I know, and I want to be more like him, And I want to make him proud. I think he is. He's told me he's proud of me. Yeah. But, I just, I don't know if it's that. It's not that recognition or whatever, because it's not about that. But yeah, I want to be a better bloke. But and I want to do more, and I want to see more, and I want to play more fucking video games. My pile of shame out there is fucking woeful. It is woeful. I've got so many games to fucking get through. I just keep buying them. My pile of shame just keeps growing.
Yeah, I've got like a pile of shame of like 4 games in the past like 3 months.
You have like a digital pile of shame now because you keep buying fucking digical games.
I know. Still haven't really touched Death Stranding, and what else
I have to finish Death Stranding. Yes.
Yeah, I got another one on the side of that as well.
I fucking told you to buy Resident Evil 2, and you finally bought it, and you played it for like 15, 20 minutes, and I'm like, just play this fucking game. Now Resident Evil 3 is coming out in 4 months. You've got to get through it before Resident Evil 3 comes out.
Now we got fucking Goat Simulator.
Oh yeah, Goat Simulator's PS Plus in January. Goat Simulator.
I'll have to get into that. I probably won't.
But yeah, there are sometimes I see things in the world and I see what's happening and I see people and how hard they have it, and it makes me realize how important life is, and how important the people in your life are, and how you should tell them that. Like, my family and I have always been pretty open. We're pretty open people. But when we were younger and stuff, we were never like, oh, I love you, mum, or whatever. And that. Like, we never said that. But now, like, it's only been, like, in the last couple of years and that. But now, like, I ring my mum and stuff, and I got to hang up. Like, oh, righto, I'll see you. I'll talk to you later, mum. And she's like, yep, righto. She's like, I love you. And I was like, yeah, I love you too. And, you know, hang up. And
same here.
It's all that shit that's like,
you
know, you don't want to have stuff that's unspoken, you know? Like, I tell my missus all the time that I love her. Yeah. And she's just like, I'll say it all the fucking time. Because, fuck, I love her. Like, Jesus Christ, I love her. I'd do anything for her. I'd do more for her than I would for you. But fucking hell. Like, I'd get stabbed for her. But, you know, I say it so much, but, you know, like, people say, you know, when you keep saying stuff, it loses meaning. But for me, it doesn't, because, I've just got so much in me. I just need to fucking tell her. Like, fuck, I love you, Jesus Christ. I totally love the bloody ass off you, to quote fucking Douglas Renham from the IT Crowd. But yeah, I just want to do more. I want to be more. I want to be a better bloke. I want to, you know, I want to have a nice car. I've got a pretty nice car, but I'd love to have a nice car. Brand new car. I've never had a brand new car. I'd like, not the material possessions or anything, but, you know, it'd be nice to have a brand new car one day as well. That'd be all right.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I don't know. Just want to be good.
Yeah. No, same. Same here.
You're tired, mate. You're going to go home, do your ASMR.
Oh, yeah.
Go to bed.
I'll link some to you.
Is there a, like, particular ASMR you like to do? Is there something? It's just like, here's a bloody walking track out in the wilderness.
Yeah,
I'll listen to that one.
I've just got one, a favourite YouTuber that I'll usually go to.
And they just put up, like, similar-ish, like, different ASMR videos?
Because it depends on the person, I find. Like, some are quite... some are too quick or something. They'll be like, and it's just not relaxing. You know, they kind of rush through it or something. I like ones that are the it's like they've got meaning in there. They're like they want to. It's like they're super relaxed themselves, and you can actually feel it, and it's a presence, or it also has a lot to do with personality. I find as well, just who they are as a person. You can tell in their mannerisms and their just facial expressions or whatever. I don't know. But whatever they're doing and like, you know, that thing, if it's just, I don't know, like sounds and things that they're making, it's usually just so calming and relaxing, and that's what gets you. But the other ones are, yeah, there are some that are just, too noisy, or they're too loud, or they're too quick and they're just rushing it, or it's just, there are also a lot that are, you know, it's hard to explain, but
that's the kind of thing though with that. Like I was about to say to you, like, you know, you should come try doing like a float tank with us.
I'd love that.
Like
I'd love that.
Just as an experience, like just to try it, to see if like you get anything out of it.
Yeah.
But like, to anyone who would want to try something like that, like ASMR or meditation or a float tank or anything like that, you have to go into it like willing to be open to it. You have to be open to the experience, like go in. Because I know so many people on that, like you talk to them and you say, oh, I went and did this, I did a float tank, I did meditation, that they just, sounds like a load of bullshit and that, like, fuck doing that. Nah, I wouldn't do that. Why would you bother? It's a waste of time. And I'm like,
some people don't get it.
You got to be like, you just got to be open to it, like anything in the world. Exactly. Aliens, Bigfoot, fucking in like species that have been gone for thousands of years that may be out there, Loch Ness monsters or whatever, anything in the world. Like, they could be out there, but you got to be open to the possibility.
Yeah.
Like, I try not to, like, I can be very yes or no on stuff. Like, not grey area and stuff, but pretty much when I know something definitively, I make my mind up on it. I'm like, yep or nah. But, like, there are so many things in the world that you've just got to be open to. You've got to be willing to everything. Like, you know, people talk so much about, I mean, like, refugees and stuff, like, especially here in Australia, you get, like, you know, asylum seekers and that, you know, coming here or whatever and that, and then so many people I know, like at work, or they're like the last generation or whatever, and that, oh, they're going to come here, they cost us all this taxpayers' money, or, you know, they come here and they take all our bloody jobs and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, you know, you gotta stop thinking like that, because the amount of things that like people like this experience, like what they've come from, like, have you actually heard any of these stories and that?
Yeah,
like,
a lot of them,
you know,
like
people seeing their family like escaping from like Syria and stuff, like their families gunned down in front of them, their family members being decapitated, like in front of them, like them in hiding and seeing their family members being decapitated, and they're just trying to get away from that stuff and get to a better life. And then like we have to be. That's what I keep saying to people. Like, we have to be better. Yeah. Like, we have to find a way where we can help each other out. Like in the current system that like people think of, like, yes, stuff like this doesn't work and it can be hard. But in saying that, if that's the case, then we need to change the system. And it's not just like as a country in that, it's like as a planet. Like, people always say the only thing that's going to unify the planet, all the countries, all the peoples of the planet, is that if there's a threat bigger than all of us that endangers us all. So obviously in Hollywood that would be Independence Day. There's an alien invasion. They're coming to wipe us all out and take our bloody water. You motherfuckers, that's our fucking water, you bastards. We're going to send you packing. And then we take out the aliens. We all team up and then all the countries of the world unite. Or if there's some plague or something like that, it's got to be something bigger than all of us that threatens us all. That's the only thing that's ever going to unite the planet as one. And at the moment, it could be climate change. It, you know, they say global warming. Global warming's an outdated phrase. It's climate change now. But, you know, it's got to be something bigger than all of us that brings us all together. Yeah. But so many people are held back by the people who are in power, politicians, governments, presidents, all these people who are in charge, who, if they do this stuff, people aren't going to vote for me next term. I'm going to be out. I'm going to be out of money. I'm going to lose my power. It's all about power. It's all about money. Rather than doing
what's right. And all
that, it's just, you got to do what's right. You can't fucking stick our heads in the sand any longer.
Apparently, like, I think David Attenborough was saying, it's almost... I think it is to the point where it's a lot of the climate change stuff is irreversible. We're like on the hill of the tipping point. Like, we keep going like this much longer, we're fucked. Like, we might probably make it better, but there's a lot of stuff that's permanent, and it's not. There's a lot of extinct shit that's not coming back as well. So
that's the thing too. Like the food. Like once the climate turns so far that we can't provide certain types of food, we can't grow crops anymore.
The lions are nearly gone.
We can't do any of that. You know, Antarctica, it's going to affect the people. We're not going to have enough food to feed everyone. Yep. We're not going to have enough water for everyone to drink. You know, it's going to become... I had this thing like a couple of months ago. I remember telling you this. For about 2 days, I had this massive, like, paranoia end of the world moment where I'm like, do I start buying containers and stockpiling water? Is that something that I do? Do I be prepared? Do I have like a bug out kit ready to go that's got like flashlights and food reserves and weapons and fucking shit in it? Like, that's like fully serious. For like 2 days, fuck, I'm drunk. For 2 days, I was just like, I was super paranoid because I just read this article about Australia's summer coming. It's like apocalyptic conditions, like, and it is at the moment. Like, we've had this heat wave for like the last week, and it's fucking blown off the charts. Down in Hobart, which is our next nearest city, they had a 41 fucking degree day the other day. Might not sound like much, but for Hobart, that was like that broke their heat record down that they've had for like fucking 20, 30 years or something like that. And it's scary shit. Like, I was watching a video about the fires the other day. It was Muga or Muaga or something like that. It was a town in like eastern Victoria, and the fires were close. And they were okay, but then the fucking wind changed like that, and immediately, like, the fire turned and started coming right toward them. Yeah. And they said, in that moment, when the weather conditions turned and the fire spiked and started to come toward the town, they had a temperature spike for 10 minutes. The temperature went from, like, 28.2 degrees up to, like, 41 what was it, 49 degrees or something like that. It was like in the 40s. It was like 40 something degrees.
Yeah.
So they had a temperature spike of like 20 degrees for 10 minutes. And then it went back down to like 30 something.
Yeah.
And all these people like had to flee their homes and they fled to the beach. They fled to the shore.
Jeez.
And they're like, this town's nearly been wiped
Bloody
out.
oath.
And you've got all these people in fucking tinnies and boats and like yachts and shit.
Yeah.
Just offshore. And there are videos of people like, oh, here's my family, here's some of our neighbours, and here's some tourists that were in a tinny and they weren't going to survive in that tinny, so they've taken them. Here's our dogs and stuff. And it's just like all these people just like on boats. Like the bushfires are really bad. Like if you just look up the Australian fire map at the moment, it's pretty bad.
It's been crazy. Even bloody volcanoes erupting and shit and everything. Like, it feels like
in
end
New
of the
Zealand.
world, doesn't it?
Was that in New Zealand and stuff with the volcano?
Yeah,
and that?
New Zealand,
yeah.
yep.
Fuck.
Yeah, it's insane.
It's crazy, man. We're in for it.
Yep.
That's like somebody was talking to me the other week about buying, we're going to buy this shack down by the beach. And I'm like, that's probably a bad idea because in about 30 years, it probably won't be there. It'll be underwater.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things, eh?
You never know, do you?
I think I might wrap that up, Patrick Brown. The ultimate tangent episode.
Yep. Yeah.
Better wrap it up.
Good name for it.
Next episode will be the Witcher episode, and then after that we'll do Rise of Skywalker, Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker.
Yep.
So we've both seen that, so we've got a little bit to say.
Yep.
So we'll get on to them. If you've made it this far, fucking good for you, because the ultimate tangent episode. It started about UFOs, and then we talked about
got real
life, spiritualism, and the universe.
I don't think I've been that deep for a long time.
That was all right, mate. I
about
am fucking a little bit drunk, actually, so I'll wrap it up here. Thanks for listening, guys. If you made it this far, we appreciate you dearly. Happy New Year, and we'll see you next time on the Bearded Geeks. Hey!
Hey!